What's up, YouTube? Cold January day at the Jersey Shore. We got some great gyms out here, so we're gonna take a quick walk down on the beach, get some coffee, some caffeine in, and then go hit chest at Vive Fitness. Let's get it. Alrighty, so we have our guest pass now, and just trying to warm up here, get the heart rate up a little bit. So the way that I find is the most effective before I bench or do heavy dumbbell presses or anything is by doing a low intensity, medium weight, high rep chest fly set on the free motion cables. And so in this case, I'm doing 20 pounds for 25 reps. Just trying to keep them slow, controlled, really focus on the mind-muscle connection here, get them activated. And as you can see, once we're done with this, we are going to move into a couple of chest presses, hit the chest flies again for a working set, and then do a decent amount of tricep work. And here we are at 225 bench, so this is my first working set. I did do a few warm-up sets before this, so I did a set of just the bar, 135, 185, and then, so this is the first working set. I'm trying to do 10 to 12 reps for this one. Pretty high intensity, but we're not going all out because we are going to bump up the weight quite a bit. So for the second set here, we added on a 25 to each side, 275 pounds total. Trying to do 5 to 7. In this case, we hit 5 and didn't want to push it too much because I'm going to try for 300 on the next set. So this is actually the first time I'm ever attempting 300 for reps. Tried to get 5. Unfortunately, I got it for 4, so that'll be our target next week. But this is a set where I went all out. So you can see 5 out of 5 on the intensity. Had to get a spotter to make sure that I was really going till failure. And we're going to scale back to 225 here. So this is an AMRAP set. 10 to 12 reps was the range I was trying to hit. Ended up making it just to 10. But okay with that, we're going to move on to the incline dumbbell press afterwards and finish off the chest. So 5 out of 5 on the intensity for this last set here. AMRAP as many reps as possible again. And one thing that I really like to kind of focus on when I'm repping out a weight like this is try and focus on breaking the bar, bending the bar in the middle of the barbell. It'll help to activate both the inner portion and the outer portion of your back. Time to work some of the upper chest now. We are also going from a bench to a dumbbell movement, so good for separating your arms. Obviously, you are now using a lot more stabilizing muscles as well. So first set, we are going right in at 90 pounds, aiming for 8 to 12 reps. And generally, if I can, I like to be in front of a mirror. That way I can make sure that both of my arms are moving through the movement path symmetrically. When I start to see one hand lag, as on that rep right there, that's when it's time to call the set. So a little pump check, getting some blood in the chest, triceps are getting full up as well. Let's get back to it. Alright, set number 2 of the incline dumbbell press. We are staying with the 90-pound dumbbells because we did get a decent amount of reps last set. So as you can see here, my number of reps dropped down to 6, which is telling me that it is time to drop the weight a little bit. 6 is kind of on the low end for reps for me. So we're going to drop down to 80s for the next one. And so last set here, we are going to do AMRAP, which is, as you can tell, probably my preferred method of training. As many reps as possible. If you have a spotter, it's easier to get there. If you don't, basically stop the set when you know you're not going to be able to get another rep. Alrighty, another quick pump check. As you can see, the upper chest has a little bit more blood in it than it did after we had finished the barbell bench, which tells me that this is pretty effective at targeting that upper pec. Alright, and on to my favorite chest exercise, which is the cable chest fly. And if you have a free motion machine like this one behind me, that is my preferred method of training this exercise because you can adjust the angles to essentially wherever you want. So mess around with it, try some different angles out. I generally aim for 10 or above reps on this particular exercise. I think this is an exercise that does best at a medium weight, high rep range. We're going to go all out on intensity for all 3 sets here. And because this is a cable exercise, it is very easy to train until absolute failure. You can get partial reps very easily here, so use that to your advantage. This is another exercise where if you have a mirror in front of you, you should be using it to ensure that your sides left and right are symmetrical. And as you can see from this angle, the striations in the chest on this exercise really come into play. It's a great way to really stretch your chest muscle fibers. And as we know now, that is the position that the most hypertrophy is made. So really make sure that you allow your shoulders and your elbows to pull as back far as you can comfortably. And keep that pec under load in a fully stretched position as long as you can. As you can see, I am going with kind of a downward motion here, so this is hitting the lower pec quite a bit more than the rest of the pec, which generally I don't believe in too much, but seeing as we hit a flat and an incline movement already, I'm fine with training a little bit of decline every once in a while. And this is my favorite way to transition from hitting chest to hitting triceps, and that's with the tricep press machine. So this is essentially simulating the movement of a dip, but I find it's much more comfortable on my shoulders since your hands are a little bit more of a pronated position. Now, I use the inside grips on this. You generally can flip them out for a little bit more width, but I find that that places a little bit more stress on my delts. So we're going for a pretty high weight to a 5 here, 5 out of 5 on the intensity. You're really going to essentially use everything you can to push this down, as many reps as possible like always. And as you can see, there is a lot of tricep involvement, but there's also some chest involvement, which is why I find it as a good exercise to progress from hitting chest to triceps. As you can also see, this is a great exercise to crank out some partials, being that it is a machine. So after I'm done with my full range of motion reps, I try to push out 3 or 4 great partials. And you can see that not only is this exercise hitting the pecs and the triceps, you're actually also getting quite a bit of front delt involvement as well. So you can see that my shoulders have some veins coming out, which is indicative of obviously usage, pump, and means that we're going to be hitting them as a nice little side effect of the tricep press machine. And now we're going to move on to tricep pushdowns using the cable. Now my preferred way to hit this is with a grip like this one. So this is the Rogue tricep strap. And I prefer this to a straight bar because you can really kind of flare your elbows out at the bottom of the rep in particular. So that kind of allows you to hit all your heads of the tricep in one movement by incorporating a little bit of that twisting motion at the end there. And a lot of people would be a little bit concerned with this amount of elbow movement, but we've hit our triceps pretty hard already with all the compound exercises and then the tricep press. So if I'm allowing myself to move my elbow a little bit, I can get a much higher number of reps and the overall volume on my triceps is much higher. So it's a trade-off that I'm willing to make in this particular scenario. So it's a trade-off that I'm willing to take in this case. Now we're going to go 5 out of 5 on intensity here, as many reps as possible. Yet again, you can see cranking out a couple partials there, getting towards the end of the exercise here, and this is going to be our last set of this kind of two-handed simultaneous push down, and then we're going to swap over to the single arm. So for that reason, this last set is going to be a little bit lower intensity. Want to leave a little bit left in the tank for the single arms because they do take a lot of energy. And so here is the single arm press down. As you can see, basically as the name implies, same movement, just one-handed. Another great way to kind of focus on your imbalances is to obviously hit each side individually, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So drop the weight quite a bit, 20 pounds now. We're aiming for between 12 to 15 reps per side, and what I like to do is start with my weak arm and then just match that number of reps with my strong arm. Alrighty, one last pump check, and just want to say thank you to everyone that made it this far in the video. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's get ready for the summer cut.